Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel, because in this episode I am going to be converting this $10 junkyard sledgehammer into a Blacksmiths Striker's sledgehammer. You beauty, let's get started. Okay, so this sledgehammer that I bought, I paid 10 bucks for it, is a double-faced hammer. It's of modern construction, so it's all steel. It weighs 6.3 kilograms, which is 14 pounds. So it's a mid-range sized hammer for me. I would also have a 12 pound hammer and a 16 pound hammer. So I've got a bit of versatility with my striking. It's been painted red. Now I don't know whether someone's painted it red or it came from the manufacturer like that. I'd say most likely it came from the manufacturer painted red, except for the faces, of course. It's got a wooden handle wedged into the top. This one's got some kind of red plasticky stuff on it. I'm not sure why that's on there. And someone's already cut it a little bit short, but it's not short enough for me, so I'll go into that in a few minutes. So all I'm going to do with this to bring it up to working condition for what I would like for when I'm striking for a blacksmith is I'm going to take this red paint off, because I don't really like red paint. I don't like painted hammers at all. I'm going to take this plastic stuff off for obvious reasons, because when I'm working around red hot metal or around a fire in a forge, I don't want anything plastic anywhere near me because it could melt and it could burn me. So that's coming off. And then I'm going to start tackling this handle. There's a bit of a thing about hammer handles. I don't know why, but manufacturers always make them too big. Even for someone with big clams like me, this hammer handle is too big. And when you're grasping something like that all day, hammering, it starts to lead to fatigue in your hands. So that's what I found over time. So I'm going to be rubbing this handle down so it's a little bit slimmer. It doesn't affect the performance of it anyway, because most of the shock value ends up here. If you ever see a broken sledgehammer, it's always broken in that bit there. So I can rub this bit down to make it comfortable for my hands when I'm striking without any loss of performance. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. Woo. Right, grinding done. Compliments of Mr. Makita. Put him away. All right, that's just giving him a rough grinding down with a Makita disc sander 100mm, and basically ground all the paint off it. Haven't touched either of the faces, and that's for a very good reason, because I don't want to mar these edges. I just go over them with a little bit of sandpaper. This is like a spongy thing. That'd be about 240 grit, something like that. I'll just go over it like that, just give it a nice little soft sanding all the way over, just to get all the rubbish and junk off of it. And then basically all I'm really looking for here is to see if there's any marks, dings, dents, chipped out bits, anything like that, because When you hit a piece of metal directly with this or any other object, there's going to be a reverse impression in your red hot metal from the face of whatever you're hitting it with, in this case this sledgehammer. No smith is going to want that, so if you're looking to strike for somebody and you're bringing your own hammer, likelihood is they're going to have a bit of look at it. I know I will be. So check that face, and you can feel it with your fingertips generally, and that feels pretty good. And on this side, I have to give that a bit of a rub. Just give it a little bit of a gentle rub down like that, go over the whole face, round and round, back and front. It doesn't really matter, you're not really going to wear it out. But the main thing is, you're not going to polish it either. It's not good to have a polished face, because a polished face skips off of metal objects, especially if you're using top tools and all that kind of stuff, and they want you to hit that. If this is too shiny and you don't hit it absolutely dead square, it's gonna kind of flick off of it, kind of thing, and that could damage things. It could damage you, it could damage the anvil, you could end up with a muscle strain or a sprain or something like that. It's not what you really want. So they need to be a little bit rough. So you have a little bit of a feel with that with my fingers, and I can feel that feels fairly good. It's fairly smooth all over. There's no lumps, there's no, you know, there's no dips, there's no dents in it. That feels fairly flat and smooth. So both sides of that are good. What I'll do now is I'll move to just sanding it after I've done this rough bit of grinding. I'll give it a bit of a sand with that. But first of all, I'll give it a bit of sand with this, just sandpaper, common old sandpaper. That's about 120 grit. Yeah, it's 120. No, it's 120. Yeah, it's 120. Have a look at that. 120. Just to take some of this big scratch marks out of it. So I'll just go all over it like that with that. Then I'll attack it with that one. Once I'm done with that, that's it, I'm done. That's good enough. This isn't going to be some museum piece. It wasn't blessed by the ancient druids of Stonehenge or anything like that. It's a $10 sledgehammer, for goodness sake. So a quick rub down, and then I'm going to wax it. The faces are good. Then I'm going to start moving on to the handle. So I'll just finish off doing the head now. I'm going to leave that little bit of red paint in there where it says 6.3 kilograms, because I like that. It kind of makes it stand out. Look at that. Nice. Alright then, so there you go. I've rubbed it down with the little Makita grinder. I've gone over it with my little, as a final rub down with my little spongy pad, just to take any of that shiny stuff off. You know, I don't want to look at all chrome and all that, you know. It's not a showpiece, it's a workhorse. So I'm not going to go all Jimmy DeResta on you and, you know, chromium plate it and bash it into a log or anything. Then you're going to give it a final little rub down, just like that. All over the faces, all underneath, just to make sure there's no final little scratchy bits on it. And there you go. That's my hammerhead part of it complete anyway. So what I'm going to do with it now, I'm going to put on some of this stuff. That is, I've got that the right way up, Gilly Stevenson's Cabinet Maker's Wax. That's all I do with my tools, I just put cabinet wax on. I've been doing it for a long time. it just preserves them a little bit, and it just stops them going a bit rusty. So you can put it on all your chisels, your planes, your hammers, you know, your saws, like this little saw here, put a bit on there. Particularly handy if it's, you know, getting stuck in the wood. And that's it, you just go over it like that. A bit of cabinet maker's wax. Jelly Stevenson is a West Australian product. That's where I am now, in the southwest of Western Australia. That's where I live. And a lady, English lady who migrated to Australia, she started making it. She started making it in her kitchen because she wanted to do furniture restoration and she couldn't find a good beeswax. So she just started making it herself. In the end, friends and people that used to do restoration started asking her if they could buy a jar or two off her, and that kind, you know how it goes. Next thing you know, she's making absolutely thousands of them. And I've been using her products for years. She's dead now, but her family still make it. You can find it on the net. Just Google that name, and if you want to try some, they'll send you a jar. They'll send it to you in the post, and you can try it out. It's actually got a really terrific smell. It smells like a really old wardrobe or something, you know. You just want to fang it down. That's how bloody brilliant it is. I absolutely love it. Every time I open up the can, I want to smell it. Yeah, I absolutely love the stuff. Righto, that'll do, donkey. That's enough of that. Goodbye. Right, I've done my hammerhead now. What I'm going to do now is turn my attention to the handle. So, I think I mentioned at the start of this video that, excuse me, I'll put my eyeballs on, but this handle's a bit too long for me. I'll just give you a look at it now. As you can see, this handle is 22 inches long. Now what I want to have it about 20 inches long. That's my measurement. I know that from experience that's what I want. About 50 centimeters or 20 inches long. So I'm going to cut this handle down now. I'm just going to chop that straight off. Okay, the next thing I want to do is cut this red plastic stuff off. Just do that with a, hopefully it'll come off okay. Yeah. Oh, it came off easier than I thought. Get off. Get out. Ah, look at that. We find out who made it now. Trojan. Hey, it's made in Australia. You beauty. Can't Australia. Ha ha ha. What about that, eh? I'll zoom you there. Look at that. Trojan. Made in Australia. Cool. All right. Well, I've got I'll take that off because I don't like stickers. Okay, I'll wipe that sticker glue off with a bit of acetone. That'll get me sticker glue off. Otherwise it's all really sticky. Icky and sticky. No good. Okay, so what I've done now is I've completed that task. I've taken off the horrible plasticky rubber, whatever that stuff was, off of my hammer handle. And I was a bit concerned at first when I bought it that there might be something wrong with the handle. It might be split or there's splinters sticking out or something like that. And that was why it was put on there. But in fact, this handle is in pretty good condition. It's not cracked or there's nothing wrong with it. So it's perfect. All I have to do now is rub this down slightly, because that is still a little bit large for my hands, even though, I mean, I've got, you know, as I said before, got quite big hands. So imagine if you were a much smaller person, or perhaps a lady wanted to do some striking or even blacksmithing in general. A very good idea to reduce the size of your hammer handle until it feels, I think, until it feels a little bit too thin. And you go, oh, that's, I don't know, but that's probably about the right size for your hand. You know, you need to get a really firm grip on it and have it comfortable in your hand so you can wrap your hand right around it and get a real good grip on it. So I'll go ahead and do that now. I'll reduce the size of this handle. Probably do that with my little grinder machine. Just put the hammerhead in my vise, get stuck into the handle. Other side, rinse and repeat. Keep feeling it so that you can get an idea of how much you're taking off. Still a little bit big. I'm shouting because I've got my earmuffs on. All right, that'll do, donkey. I really like the feel of that now. That feels much better in the hand. Both my lead hand, I'm right-handed by the way. It's probably a bit misleading to hold it that way for you. I hold my lead hand with my right hand because I'm right-hand dominant, and my left hand, which is now about an inch or two from the bottom, and my other hand when I'm striking will go about there. You can see the relationship of my hands to the end of the hammerhead for a 14 pounder. And when at rest, put it over my shoulder like that. All I have to do now really is just give this a nice little bit of a sand down, because that disc thingy is a bit rough, so give it a little rub down and then linseed oil it. I'll just get a bit of sandpaper. There you go. What's that? 120 grit. That's real man's exfoliation. Who needs whiskers anyway? Right, let's give this a bit of a rub down. Rubby, rubby. Like that, all the way around. Just to smooth it. Just whatever you reckon's good, you know. Stop when you think you've done enough. Have you done enough yet? No? Keep going? All right. Keep going. Get it done. Look at that. That is lovely. That is smoother than a supermodel's thigh. Not that I'd know what a supermodel's thigh felt like, but I'd certainly like to know what it felt like. Right, time for linseed oil. What I do with my linseed oil is a little bit of a tip and a bit of a trick I'm just going to give away for nothing. When I'm going to do a bit of linseed oiling like this, it's very hot today in Australia, it's about 100 degrees, not that bad. I put it outside in the sunshine and just let it go out there. I find on a cold morning it's really, really thick, but you put it outside on a hot day, it goes really thin, and then it gets into your wood a lot better. Sometimes I would even put the handle out there as well to get the handle hot, but I'm not going to do that now because I'm making a video. I'm back! Did you miss me? I bet you did. Just any old rag will do. Any old rag. This is pale boiled linseed oil, as you can tell from the label. Alright? I love linseed oil. I mean, I wouldn't put it on my salad, but I really like it. Shaky, shaky, on she goes. Oh, bugger it, shove it in your hand. Get it in your hands, get your hands on it, come on! What's the matter with you? Ah, get it on there. Yum yums. Look at that, fantastic. Put a bit of extra right on there because that's the end of it and it always sucks up all the oil pretty good. There you go, nice. Oh, this is really nice wood, this. Look at that, that's beautiful. I don't know what it is, some kind of Australian hardwood maybe. I'm not sure what sort, but that is really feels really good in the hand now. It's a bit wet and gooey because it's got, you know, linseed oil all over it, but it soon soaks in, you'd be surprised. Here's my formula for linseed oiling. Oil it once a day for a week, then oil it once a week for a month, and then oil it once a month for a year. And after that, just put on 1 coat per year. If you do that, your tools will be slick and smooth. They're just a pleasure to pick up, you know, they're really tactile. You pick them up and you go, oh yeah, look at that. Whew. That's really smooth, you know, beautiful. Now, I haven't gone overboard with the head. In fact, it looks a bit rough. Matter of fact, it's as ugly as a robber's dog, but that doesn't matter because it's got a job to do. This thing's going to be pounding hot steel. It's not a glamour puss, it's not a Ferrari. It's a Kenworth truck. It's supposed to look ugly. I don't like pretty tools. Do you? Do you like pretty tools? Drop me a comment. Do you like your tools to look all pretty? Well, you know, it's not a wall hanger, that's what I'm saying. There we go. That is one ready to use Blacksmiths Striker's hammer. Now I just want to finish off this video by giving you a few little facts and figures. This is now a 20-inch handle. I'm 6'2" when I'm standing up straight, all right? I've got long gangly arms and legs like a big bloody spider. This is long enough for me, so I wouldn't imagine anyone would need one any longer than that. And the reasons why I've cut it down to this size, I'm going to show you right now by demonstrating on a blacksmith anvil exactly why it's like that. Rightio, ladies and forgers. What I'm going to do now is give you a very quick demonstration of the way I would go about striking for a blacksmith. Now let's just say this is the blacksmith's anvil, his forge is over there somewhere, he's ready to get started to do some work. I would approach the anvil with my legs slightly wider than shoulder width apart, with my hammer, when I'm resting, over my shoulder like that. Now, as he's getting ready to bring his metal out of the fire and we can start forging, the first thing I'm going to do is place the face of the hammer directly in the centre of the anvil, and I'm going to put that on my body so that it'll sit there by itself. It's just touching me right there. This is my ready striking position. I'm standing upright, I'm looking directly forward, my feet are slightly wider than shoulder width apart, and when I take up my hammer, I'm right hand dominant, so I'll put my right hand about 8 inches from the hammer head and my left hand about 2 inches from the base of the hammer handle. When the smith brings his metal out of the fire, I'll pick up my hammer into the rest position until there's going to be a brief conversation, by the way. It's not all silent, you know, everybody knows exactly what's happening. There's usually a conversation. I'm going to do this, you're going to do that, hit it hard, hit it soft, do this, do that. I know exactly what he's going to do on the anvil and where he's going to put the piece of metal. Sometimes you'll even do a bit of a rehearsal. Then, when you're ready to strike, you unlock your knees, stick your butt out a tiny bit, get ready, and put the hammer handle, the head of that hammer is now resting on my spine. I'm directly squared up to that anvil, and when he puts that piece of metal on the anvil and he calls for the strike, I'm going to strike straight down on top of the anvil like that. Now, if he wants a slightly less of a blow, he wants it lighter, I'm not going to put it all the way back like that to where my spine is. It will be up here directly above my head. I'm sitting that on my head now. It'll be in about that position, about there, slightly above my head, and then down. Because it's taking less force, downward force, you're getting less of a blow. If he wants a really light blow, then I'll blow from about there, or about slightly further up like that. And it's directly up and down. It's not swung sideways like you will see some people doing it on the internet like this. That is absolutely ridiculous. You can see what's going to happen with that hammerhead when it comes down. Nor is it ever swung with both hands back, all the way back here, lift it up like you're bashing in a tent peg, like that. It's never struck like that. It's always done with the hands in exactly the same place. And this is for control. You must be controlling your hammer face when it comes down, because you can come down too much like this, which is heel down, or too much like that, which is toe down. Your blacksmith might call for that, in which case you'll do it and then probably do a bit of a rehearsal. So let me show you how that works with a little block of wood. There's a block of wood there. Right. Obviously I wouldn't smack that straight into an anvil because they're both hardened pieces of steel. So let's just say that piece of wood is our project, and he's put it on the anvil. It's nice and hot. I've got myself ready. Over he comes, down he goes. So he calls for a hard hit, down we go. Another hard hit, down we go. I'm actually not really hitting that hard because I just want to show you the action of it rather than the actual full powered blow, which I would use if it was hot metal. Straight down. Now if he calls for a lighter blow, it might go to about there. And you can keep this up for hours. Or he might call for a very light blow. Something like that. When he's finished, if he's going to put the metal in the fire and then bring it straight back out, or doing a forging where he's doing production forging where there's 3 or 4 pieces of steel in the fire and he's bringing one out at a time and you're whacking away at it, doing all the heavy work to begin with, then you'll just stand here like this at the rest position like that. If something else is going to go on, or it's going to be a protracted amount of time, you just put your hammer down. Put your hammer down there, walk around, have a drink, do whatever you want. But those are my tips, and that is my suggestion for how you strike. Stand square to the anvil like that, straight in the centre of the anvil, should be the centre line of your body. Your feet square to the anvil like that. Feet slightly wider than your hips, and have the hammer head directly in the centre of the anvil, and just touch it on your body like that when you're standing upright and you're facing forward at your own height, and that is the absolute perfect position. And then when you finish striking, put it down, go away. You can always line yourself up again later on. By the way, in a future video I'm going to be bringing this anvil, this antique John Brooks wrought iron anvil, back to working condition, so look out for that in a future episode. Until then, thanks for watching, and I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, put a comment in the comment section down below. What did you get out of it? What did you think was the most useful? I'll find that kind of stuff informative for future videos that I'm going to make. So thanks for watching, and see you later.